My name is Miggs Burroughs, and the technique used here is called lenticular, and it dates back to the 1950s. And it's a technique that allows two images to be combined behind an optical plastic and change from one image to the other, which lends itself perfectly to sign language because most signs in sign language are two gestures. And the lenticular image conveys sign language very well. What I'd like people to be inspired by with this exhibit is engaged in, first of all, the interesting aspects, the movement of sign language, the poetry of sign language, the poetry of Emily Dickinson, and the message conveyed, which is about compassion. The poem is about compassion, and there's poetry in sign language, in the movement of sign language. And I think there's poetry in the fact that there's 30 individuals, like words in a poem, conveying a message. Each individual is a word in a bigger poem, and like we all are in the community, in the world. And the models you see in the images are actually, none of them are professional models. None of them are hearing impaired. None of them knew sign language. Part of the idea was that they're a hearing, part of the hearing community that is trying to bridge the gap, the language gap, and making an effort, as a tourist would in a foreign country, try to speak the language as best they could to show that they're, to show their interest and their respect for the language. So they are just local people, and I tried to make them find people in my community as diverse as possible in age, gender, nationalities, ethnicities, and kind of a microcosm of the world. And we're hoping to bring it to other countries, and the message is universal, so why not?
My name is Yurkiw. I do sculptural storytelling. When Miggs asked me to be the last portrait in his 30 words of Emily Dickinson's incredibly lovely poem, Signs of Compassion, I knew instantly what he was doing. What made it even more special was that he was so careful to be inclusive of all the different types of people, races, religions, types, genders, whatever. I was very impressed with that, and it struck me. And it made it very much important to me to try to get it here to the United Nations. And so we started a 4-year journey to find the right mission at the UN to bring this here. And I was very happy to be able to contribute as Miggs addressed the people that have a disability with hearing. I tried to address people who had a disability with vision, so that the sculpture and the graphics complemented each other into the different forms of yet more inclusive diversity of the people that struggle with their hearing or their sight, and all of the people on the planet to boot. I thought that was an immense accomplishment to try to be so ambitious to be so inclusive. And all that we were trying to do is bring that to the world. And we could do it with poetry, with fine art, graphics, sculpture, and we hope to add dance to it next go around.
I mean, the only thing I would add is just a huge thank you to the United Nations for allowing this message to be put on the world stage, so to speak, because it's not art for sale, it's art in the service of something greater that the United Nations stands for as well.